Hello and a warm welcome back to the When Dirt Cast with your hosts, me Jimbo and good old Calvinator. We'll be discussing latest MFL updates, transfers, developments and so much more that has gone on over the last week or so. One important note, obviously none of what we chat about on here is financial advice. Do your own scouting or hire a director of Metaverse football. Calva, technically this is the Christmas episode of the When Dirt Cast going out on the 23rd, so to all of our listeners and to yourself as well, have a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Hopefully, and we all know the first day of season 2 is on Christmas Day.
Yes,
so hopefully
yes,
you all
big
have
as well.
a great Christmas dinner and then a nice dessert that you have won all your matches. Although
Fingers
for our
crossed.
American listeners, probably it's more like an appetizer that you won your games and then have a Christmas dinner.
Yeah, maybe if you win your games, or if you're to lose your first game, it's better to be in Europe, because if you're in the Americas, you might lose your game and then you've still got the rest of Christmas to ponder and have it in the front of your mind. Whereas for us, we just maybe lose and go to bed.
Exactly.
Easy.
So hopefully a nice present. Hopefully Santa will give you a victory on match day 1. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see how it goes. And it will be great anyway. Don't let MFL dominate your life. It is important, of course, but
It's important, yeah.
Family is also important. So don't get carried away. And show it to your uncle and your cousins. What we said before, you can best chance to promote it. Like, hey, look, this game is now playing live against some random dude somewhere else in the world. Like, yeah, that can be great. Yeah, so looking forward to that, and then we are gonna record, little spoiler, a second episode later with the Q&A we launched,
Q&A,
right?
yeah.
Which will then be kind of our, how do we call it, winter Q&A, Christmas
Yeah,
Q&A?
winter Q&A, Christmas/New Year, kind of post-Christmas, pre-New Year. Our winter Q&A.
End of the year, winter Q&A. We have kind of 4 times like a season.
I think last year we were fortunate because last year Christmas fell on a Monday, so it was a Christmas episode, which I think was actually really fun. I think we had it all scheduled for midday or earlier on in the day, I think it was. So you could open your presents and listen to the podcast at the same time. What a wonderful thing to do on Christmas Day. And to any of you who will be listening to this on Christmas Day, huge shout out, but definitely put friends and family and food over the podcast, I think, at first, and then listen to us in the evening.
Yeah, exactly. So this is our Christmas episode. We have our Christmas winter Q&A, which will be live the next week when we are also having a chill holiday. And today we're going to talk about Magos again, or actually Diamond League again, and with my story with Magos. My contract was renewed this week.
The return of the Magos.
So we are back.
But without the financial backing.
Woo! Yeah, more about it later. 2,500 is now a very special number in the community. Kind of.
Yep. Yeah, good meme number now to have.
Speaking about numbers, there's also episode 69, so it will be a very nice episode, I think.
Yeah,
very nice episode.
We've done well.
So a lot of special numbers today. More about it later. Like another little Diamond Diary. I'll talk a bit about season 1 ending, season 2, and in general about Diamond League. What is changing different this time around? So we'll focus on Diamond League today. So more about it later. Maybe before we start with the updates, quick update about streams, or shout out about the stream.
Yeah, shout out to everyone who tuned into the stream on Wednesday. It went hugely well, I feel. There was a massive demand for packs, so much so on the website that I think it crashed. Well, near enough, login and everything like that crashed due to demand about 40 minutes beforehand. The pack drop itself seemed to go smoothly, as predicted. Everything flew off the stocks like a Christmas Boxing Day sale does. The demand is there, everything gets wiped off. I think more so from our point of view, from a stream data side point of view, I think what I looked at was that we had over 1,000 unique viewers tune into the stream across really that 2 hours, which big. To put that in comparison to the previous drop had only 603. So just shy of double the amount of unique viewers in the space of 3 weeks, which is, I guess, testament to the demand going on, but also
that's really big. That's worthy of a hype train.
Yeah, a hype train. Yeah, a lot. I think we had an extra 8 or 9 subs. So thank you to all those who did the Prime subs.
We had a nice hype train.
Yeah, which next time we do a stream or we get a hype train, you've got to sing or do a little choo choo, maybe sing some Dutch.
Yeah, I think I did one, but we can do another one, and then every time we have it, you can like show it as like this little GIF, the hype train.
Little hype
But yeah,
train.
it was really cool. Probably our next stream is gonna be, of course, in the new year. New drop on I think the 8th.
The 8th, yeah.
Yeah, top of the head. So we'll be back then for more. Let's talk about updates. What is your moment of the week?
I don't really have a personal one, aside from I've got all my teams set up, which I'm kind of worried for with the Wyverns, because bronze is just I've not got a grip of this engine so far with this setup because I've had to change it slightly. I've not got all the same 11 strongest players from last season. I've got like 3 different ones. Big shout out to Palmer, also for the giveaway last week that he allowed us to do, but also for lending me a bunch of players. But my moment of the week is actually going to be to all of you out there, and to say that as of the time of recording, we currently have 1,836 clubs signed up for Season 2, which I think is phenomenal. So pat yourself on the back, everyone. We're breaking record numbers each season into these official seasons, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah, that's really a huge number. And well, we might even get to 2,000. The deadline was extended a little bit. We even have new people coming in, maybe some late registration. So maybe 2,000 is a bit too ambitious. 1,900 is definitely possible. So that's really, yeah, amazing. I just saw some talk about maybe the Dirt League needs to be created or something else below ice. Or we'll have to see. It's like we're getting to that point. So hopefully the team is thinking about it.
Well, I think someone asked that there's about 215 maximum, about 210, just say, ice clubs.
Like left.
This is ice clubs. Ice clubs yet to be packed. Obviously, there's technically about another 10. I don't know how many stone or how many. I think maybe like 1 silver, 1 bronze, couple iron that's still held back. Maybe in people's packs that not open them. Inactive accounts, but
yeah, they are. You cannot buy them, right? So when the ice club supply runs out, you only need 200 new people coming in buying a pack. So it might be quick, and then we need.
Well, it doesn't even have to be new people with the Christmas promo. It can be
exactly.
New people. Yeah. It could be current people, which I guess is where that extra little supply decrease is coming from, because some of the current users are like, "Whoa, I got some Christmas money, but maybe a Christmas bonus. Let me get myself a free pack and an ice club." And run it for Season 2, because it had so much fun in Season 1, as we all did.
Yeah, and I think if we know delegation is maybe around the corner, I think when we had met on, he said like short term. So if delegation will be live, and for example, Magos is now delegated to me, it's not in my wallet. So it is already possible. I think then we'll see also big uptick. Like right now, it's like I don't want many clubs because it's too much. But what if you can own 20 clubs and give them to so many people to manage them? So maybe then we'll see another big boom in sales. Speaking about sales and buying, my moment of the week is a little splash myself.
Ooh,
so I was
Calva
selling
splash.
off some guys. I already got like worried DMs like, why are you selling? Are you leaving? Like panic, but no. I just was too many players, too many clubs. I want to a bit more from a quantity, quality. So I reinvested one in a striker from 99. $220. I think that is my biggest ever club purchase for a 23-year-old striker, Matthew Singh from England, 82 striker. And he progressed +4 last year. So I thought that is a very juicy number. And maybe he can keep that kind of rate going with 23-year-olds still kind of below prime age, right? A couple more years. So
yes,
I thought he's worth the price for his stats, but also for that +4. So progression does play a role when you are buying new players.
Yeah.
So a nice little splash from me.
Nice, mate.
Like a Christmas present to myself.
Well,
let's call it that way.
I think thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, and then maybe it was also because I almost relegated from gold. Right, last week we were. I survived. You also managed. You managed to get to bronze. I managed to stay in gold. So I needed a little bit more quality, especially up front. So that's why I got it. Let's talk about the dev update. So of course, Season 2 is here, and on the dev side, many like operational things kept the team busy. preparing for all the league creations, and they had this rollover day, of course, with all the relegations, the promotions. The players were like our hashtag happy birthday, like birthday boys. They
Birthday
all
boys.
got older by 1 year. Some clauses, pre-contract agreements, there was a lot to handle, but in the end, the transition, that rollover day, went pretty smoothly. Only a couple of minor issues, which were also quickly resolved. So that went all smoothly. The engine, of course, will have a new engine, and a new version was released earlier in the week. And it brings many important improvements, such as player movements have been improved. The referees are now visible. And the ball can hit the post and crossbars. Like those we already knew, but those are like the key updates in this new version. And 2 fixes have been done after this initial release. Quentin keeps working on it. I know a lot of guys keep spamming him in the engine feedback channel, but he always kindly replies. And also a huge shout out to Quentin for all that consistent hard work. Really amazing. And check out the patch notes if you want to know way more details about the engine. Then you already mentioned this, some technical hiccups, like the website went down a little bit. There were some server load spikes. So far, everything keeps running well, except for that peak before the drop. So they will, look at it a little bit, like how to optimize that from the back end. Also, there were some Dapper wallet issues, so that's also not too good if you want to log in and you can't. Also, some blockchain events, some services. So there were some hiccups, but in the end, it's all okay, I think, right now. And marketplace purchase tracking, that they were not tracking all the deals, especially on Flowty.
Yeah.
In general, there was a big Flowty debate going on with all the sniping, maybe.
It's
about that somewhere.
I think there's a question in our Q&A about this. I think it's from Alexa about MFL.
I think so, yeah.
And I think we can maybe sort of summarize it in there, but it wasn't great to see, I'll put it that way. To see someone going around trying to take advantage of people maybe not doing their checks thoroughly, which I guess is the most important thing. Maybe the biggest takeaway from this is if you're doing sort of sending offers to yourself or between users to, not to yourself, sorry, unless you're Celcedio, to other managers, is to check that it's the wallet that you're wanting to transact with, because we saw it. Someone thought they were sending a player to another person, and it went to someone else. And I don't think that's still been... Technically, they did nothing wrong, right? That's the frustrating thing.
Yeah.
But it's the etiquette around, if it... I know in So Rare, some people sometimes send really low offers to try and get the offers talking. That's a bit different here, because you can't send, I don't know if you send a counter offer, or you don't know who it is because you just see the wallet address. But I think the intent was clear what they were trying to do. And we just hope it gets sort of rectified.
Yeah, well, I think
a learning lesson.
You only hurt yourself in the long run. Now
100%.
Everyone knows, watch out for this guy.
Yeah.
No one wants to deal with you anymore. Plus, we're all now aware of this issue. Yeah, and it's just really, just a dick move to do this. It's just, technically, it's nothing wrong, but it's a bit like stealing. Kind of.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing to see. It's really disappointing to see.
Yeah, but as the community keeps growing, there's always going to be a couple more bad apples in there.
But
and that's hard to avoid. You cannot. But networking, relationships is a huge part of the real football world, and of course also in MFL. So you're only going to hurt yourself. Then no one wants to deal with you anymore. You're kind of de facto blacklisted.
Yeah.
We cannot really blacklist this person, but you're pretty much blacklisted. So be careful, check the wallet always. Nowadays we see some 5 cents offer, 6 cents, 3 cents, so to kind of avoid this. So maybe add a couple cents to, and then say which amount did you pick.
I do wonder though, just a really quick thought, if it does put the piece of work around maybe having an MFL built trade tool. does that push the priority up to prevent things like this happening? Because like you said, as demand grows and get more managers, the probability of these happening, even if the probability stays the same, the frequency will increase if there's more users. So maybe that goes up in sort of the priority list slightly.
Hopefully, yeah. And in general, we want to have more in-app things, right? A bit more in-app trading, in-app offers, in-app messaging.
Yeah.
All to be less dependent on a Discord or on a Flowty, to have it all in one place.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the goal moving forward, and this is definitely a wake-up call for in-app trading, in-app offers, to be sure of that. So good. Little warning. A bit disappointing to have this around Christmas, but I think there was also a lot of support from the community, everyone trying to help and get the word to get this person.
Yeah.
Final thing about Christmas is that the team is taking a break, so especially Jax and Matt will take it easy, spend nice time with their family. Lucas too, hopefully, although he is the main point of contact. So hopefully Lucas also has a nice holiday, but you can spam him a bit more than Lucas and Jax. So good to know that. Anything else? I think we covered.
No, I think we've covered enough on that bit. So let's keep cracking.
I agree. Then Diamond season update. So when we discussed last week, almost everything was played apart from one important promotion, like Diamond playoff between Basel, MFC, and BFC Manchester. And BFC Manchester won that, so they are now promoted. So we had all the four teams were relegated from Diamond and replaced with 4 others. So Socios, Berlin, Parque Ibirapuera, Basel are relegated, and Joga Bonito, Varians, Naples Gold Feathers, and BFC Manchester are in there. So 4 new teams, later more in our main segment about Diamond. So those 4 teams are part of that. Yeah, and there were, of course, some other playoffs. So I saved myself. You went to bronze, but nothing related to diamonds.
Yeah,
so we
just,
can be...
Just a quick, huge shout out to Dane for that BFC Manchester
yes, that's pretty...
campaign. It was huge from him. So I know he was very nervous leading into that game. He was like, nope, no pressure whatsoever, no pressure. Sort of like massive sarcasm. Because we were like, go on. And then he managed to pull through. So it's a huge result.
Huge, yeah. Yeah, so let's move on, because there's next time we'll record, there will be more Diamond League updates, but not now. Well, 2 episodes now. New managers. I counted at least 20, but there's probably more, and just in general, there's more people coming in. So great to see so many new names. For example, Marcus B, J Fres, Yasanology, JC67, Unity 5, Ark and J, Bertrand 13, Wolfrod 13, Harry Lane, LSM, Joshua 1, Jolof MVN, Sork 29, The Finisher, Shanksy, Le Devin Chauve, Sentry, Petal, FC, Victorious, Nova 101. Probably way more. But my new user of the week is someone called Pepsi Guardiola, and he created a club called Memechester Chitty. So I'm really looking forward to the adventures of Pepsi Guardiola. And Memechester Chitty, also fun logo to check out. He really had some kind of Manchester City logo with some.
I think I've seen it. I think I did give
a
little peep. Yeah.
I like we like a bit of a little joke and a wink. And with the current state of Man City, maybe they need to hire Pepsi to save them. I think.
Yeah. Couldn't do any worse.
Couldn't do any worse. Yeah, couldn't do any worse. Exactly. Then some market moves. There was so much going on. I just picked some kind of random people who I thought has an interesting story, or an interesting kind of connection with an aspect of MFL. So, for example, Inca King, he bought a lot of commons, a lot of uncommons. His profile also says from Peru. I wonder if that's really true, but that would be cool. In general, I saw a lot of nice new countries. So, for example, Finland. The finisher was from Finland. We also had more from Mexico. Also some new Dutch users, Norwegian. So we're really getting more international, which is great to see. Rare players. This is more something also I want to ask you, Jimbo. So Amino408 bought an 80 center mid CM, 26-year-old for 90 USD from Fair Blender. So considering the age, do you think that's like relatively cheap, like kind of an age discount, or did Amino still paid like too much for an 80, for like a 26-year-old 80 rated CM?
I think that's a pretty good price, to be fair. If you consider the minimum amount of game or minimum amount of seasons it's going to get is another 6. But bearing in mind, say if he was to be really unlucky and be an early retiree at 32, you would see quite a drop off in his fatigue replenishment and the rate of fatigue in those upcoming seasons. But I think that's quite a nice value. Obviously, I've not looked at the player and their stats and if did they achieve any progression over this season. If it's a freshly packed player, that's a different story because their prime age is going to be later. Their prime age will be later than their mint age, so 27, 28, maybe a little bit later. Therefore, you're going to get at least 1-2 overall progressions in there. Then if you're talking, an 82 rated player for $90, you'd definitely take that, wouldn't you? Yeah. But that's obviously if it's a fresh mint sort of thing.
But in general, you have a trend that there's quite some 80 rated players, but the listed below 100, like 27, 28, maybe now some 29-year-olds even. That's the oldest. So it's interesting to see what like the market is going to be for older players.
It'd be interesting to do a bit of analysis on, are those players being listed, are they actually being bought as well? Or are people sort of staying away from them a bit because they're sort of meh? Obviously, in this case, 26-year-olds been bought, but I've seen a 28, 29-year-olds being listed, and I probably should go back and have a look. Did they actually sell? Are they still up there? People just sort of
good to
staying away from it?
To get some data on that, maybe for Alexis or Bastizo or someone who's good with this to check. What about age and sales? So to be continued, legendary players. So the following guys I'm gonna talk about, they are not the splash of the week, but they are all super splash worthy. So they all deserve to be splashes. So for example, Joe B bought Helio Martino, a 17-year-old left back, 88 overall for $1,800. Then Joe B also bought William May, 20-year-old, 89 rated right back for $1,499. So he spent $3,300 on 2 legendaries.
I think I did see some tweets from him earlier in the week, maybe making some money. I'm not going to say off a meme coin, but maybe like showing charts of some candlestick charts of some, I don't know, meme coin, whatever, going up quite a bit and selling it. So I reckon maybe that's something that might be transferred.
And then some flows into MFL.
I think it might be floated, which I think is what quite a few people do, even from So Rare. Winning So Rare, flow it into MFL, which we always want to see that.
Yeah, that's amazing to see. And then one other huge transfer is that McGill, the goalie, 91 rated goalie. He played for Magos in season 1, really fun. That he joined League Great, that he joined our team, but now Dio, I think with a lot of pain, it was kind of painful, a lot of emotions, but he sold McGill to Sturge for $1,700. So another massive splash, which is not a splash. So what do you think of this, all these big moves?
Oh, it's great to see, and obviously a lot of them happened today. So it's, I'm just going to, even before we mention Splash of the Week, we've not finished the month of December yet, but we are roughly about $14,000 away from our biggest ever volume in a month for MFL. So to give some stats, I could be off by a couple thousand here, but in May, we hit $138,000.
Wow,
and we're currently, obviously this is every 2 hours this can be refreshed, but I don't use any APIs, I'm not that clever with this stuff. Current in December, with a week or so left, we've got 124,000. So can we make that push? We've also seen the most, the most unique buyers in a week on MFL as well. So compared to when the biggest one actually was when the marketplace first opened, we had about 61 unique buyers in that week, but now we've got 85. So that's unique buyers just in the individual week.
in
so
1
far,
week, yeah.
which is huge. So we're definitely seeing massive demand spikes, and kind of, I guess, as a result of that, more interest in some of these legendary players, and they're making moves.
Yeah, very, very healthy, and now also a lot of budget for other transfers, of course. So all pumped into the market.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are all not splash. But before Jimbo goes to the splash, a little bit about clubs. Last week, I kind of like a little joke about Manchester Ice that it was sold for only 70 USD. So apparently there was no premium for Manchester. But this week, Manchester Bronze sold SY bought that license from Twitch for 210 USD. So for a bronze Manchester, there was a little bit of a premium compared to market prices. And yeah, nice club purchase. Of course, the market, we've seen it also with the giveaway of Palmer, right? You get a silver license, but then you have to get players. You have to get it filled, otherwise it's going to relegate. So that's why I think the market is down. You really need to be able to keep those clubs in there if you buy one. You cannot just buy it as like an asset to invest in, what we've seen before. So that's interesting to see too. Over to you for a really big...
Here we go, folks. Splash of the week. And this week is absolutely fucking massive. Emilian Kovacs, 94 rated Romanian striker, selling for 2,550 USD. Boom! Huge. Ancient packed him during the most recent pack drop, and Ronan scooped in there and said, "Me's got 2.5 bags, pal. Do you fancy it?" And obviously Ancient went, "Oh, yes, please. That's quite a lot of Christmas presents, maybe for the next couple of years." $2,500, just over. So to run through the player profile, 25. So he's not the youngest, but he's certainly not the oldest. He's just sort of in between, which is interesting. Striker, Romanian, 94 rated. Here come the stats. 91 pace, 95 shooting, 90 passing, 94 dribbling, and physical, 93. And because you all love me saying it, his defending is 26. Boom. How about that, Calva? Big one this week.
Massive. And it was really fun with seeing all the diamond managers or the plat managers who could afford a Lego. It was really like kind of a Russian, well, not like a normal roulette, right? Who's gonna get like this guy? Everyone's waiting for it. I know Scrub, for example, he was a bit like waiting and he was a bit like afraid, and he just timed it wrong. He told me he had like pack 20. We had like pack 21, 22, 23, and this guy was in pack 20. So of the Legos that were still left, that's so he was just didn't get him, and then Ancient got him. So yeah, really nice, amazing striker. Interestingly 25. So we just talked about age. He is already a bit on the older side, still a huge amount, but as you mentioned, like this is his first season, so for sure there's gonna be at least 1 or 2 points progression in this guy. So for sure it's going to be a 95 or a 96.
But
and
to
then
see a
for
94
that price,
rated striker coming into
it's
season
already
2
super good. Yeah.
But also remember, this is Rodus. It's going straight into Meta Mercenaries. So he's already got those. I can't remember. Is it Lohart or the? Is it Lohart or the German or the Saudi cams?
I think
when you've got those sort of 94, or even maybe it might be 95 now, I can't remember. Players behind a 94 rated striker, with these stats, are going to be filthy next year. You've got those 4 new teams coming up from Plat. Yourself with Magos, Madrid. This guy could run right.
He ran a couple friendlies. He was testing a lot, and there were some like a 7-1 and an 8-2. So
fucking hell, man.
that's pretty painful. It's
going to be stacked, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mental. Like Joe B stacking up Ronin, Scrub. Like, well, will be interesting what's going to happen in Diamond, and how if Kovacs can get the golden boots. Then before we end this quick IRL MFL, I'll kick off with this. So there was like a cup round I usually talk about Dutch league, right? Dutch football.
Yeah.
There was the Dutch Cup was a round being played this week. And there were quite some upsets. So like amateur sides, 3rd tier, 4th tier. And they are all amateur sides. We only have 2 professional tiers. So 3rd, 4th, 5th is all amateurs. And a lot of professional teams were kicked out. So always fun to see.
I saw one of them, Fortuna Sittard, got beat, was it 3-1? 3-1 at home or away to a small side. And I was like, oh, that's... and then that prompted me to actually have a look at some of the results as well. And I'm glad you mentioned this because I was looking at those results going, whoa, they're a bit tasty, aren't they? They're what we love to see. They're upset. Love to see them.
Yeah, it's really... But also the whole Dutch pyramid is weird because you cannot... There's no... We're one of the only few football pyramids in the world where you cannot promote between the 2nd and the 3rd tier. There's like 2 professional tiers and then cut off and then the highest amateur tier. But a lot of those amateur teams, they could technically play in that higher tier, but they just cannot promote. And the professional teams cannot relegate. So it's kind of unhealthy structure.
So is it a financial thing to get yourself into those professional leagues then? Because obviously in that second division, you've got a lot of the bigger teams have their young team in there, but they obviously can't get promoted in there. So
it's a mess. It's a mess. But this means that a lot of big amateur clubs are kind of semi-pro. They also pay very good salaries, but then the guys have to do less training. They have like another part-time job on the side. And often they don't want to even promote. They could apply, but then they have to have other rules and upgrade their stadiums, and that costs a lot of money. So they choose to not become professional. And then always in the cup, they beat those bigger sides. But yeah, this prompted me to kind of think, when MFL FA Cup, will we sometimes have like a little fun FA Cup style tournament of the whole MFL pyramid? That would be really cool to see.
Yeah,
I know there's been some talk about it, but
it's a hard one to do on the reward structure, I think, because if you're a big club and you win it, it shouldn't be something you benefit from financially or with MFL quite a lot. Whereas if you're a smaller club, scale up to.
I think there should be just one payout for each round you progress, and it gets higher and higher. I think that will work. So I remember also with playing Football Manager, you're some 4th tier English club, and then you win one round, and that's quite a lot of money, right? For the lower leagues. Yeah. For a top team, not a lot of money, but then maybe it gets higher for each round, and then if you win the final, you get a lot of money. So it's an incentive for the low teams to do well, for the top teams to maybe rotate, but they still beat it. And then
it's top teams for like player progression, and then the ability to probably fast track getting a trophy. Because you've only got to pay up against 2 or 3 big sides, which should be easier. But for smaller teams, it's definitely a money generator.
Yeah, it would be like a big chunk of MFL coming their way. So it could be fun to implement it sometimes. Yeah, at any moment there was Premier League football again today.
Nope, so I'm not going anything to do with football. I'm going straight towards just IRL. And for far too long, and we've always used the analogy of MFL being like an apple pie, an apple crumble in the oven. You can see it being baked because it's a nice window on the oven. So it's transparent. So you could look through and you can see the developments when the dev team do their updates on a Friday. But because of that, you can see it rising. You can see that the baking, the crumble rising up.
Your famous
getting
apple crumble
better.
story.
Yeah. So it's been far too long that I've never actually officially announced my apple crumble recipe. So it's apple pie, but apple crumble is more of a lovely British delicacy. So in the description on the show notes, I'm going to write out the recipe for a lovely British apple crumble. A lovely delicacy to have during the Christmas
really
period.
Homemade, or is it...
No, this is homemade. This is my mother's recipe.
So your mother's recipe? Okay.
This isn't yabbed off somewhere. This is my mother's recipe.
Nice.
It's when they get it's a really old recipe book and they've written all over it and given it sort of updates and they've added more flavour to what was already a really flavoursome recipe. So I'm not going to read out the whole recipe because it's quite it's not quite long. Lots of ingredients involved in there, but it's a nice 3 or 4 steps. Preparing the crumble, the oats, all that ingredients. the apples, making sure they're soft enough so when they go in, and then baking it. Oh, and with custard or ice cream, it's just. But in the show notes below, I will leave a lovely recipe for you all to go and try out. And if you do go try it out, send me a screenshot or a little photo or something, or a little review of how that apple crumble is for you. There you go.
Very, very passionate.
I'm passionate about your
apple
crumbles. Apple crumbles are different. Do you have apple crumbles in
also,
Holland?
yeah. Although we have another more famous apple pie that is better, I would say, but maybe that's for another season.
No? next year you do your apple recipe.
yeah. Dutch, we say appeltaart. Dutch appeltaart.
Yeah, I think in America it's more of like a pie thing, like with the whole pastry. We like the crumble with the oats. It's not really dense, but it's still really sweet. And
no, we also have apple crumble. It's definitely nice.
I'm glad you have it as well. I'm glad you've got it as well.
Maybe everyone should bake it and then hashtag Jimbo's Crumble. Or
hashtag Jimbo's
Crumble, and then show your results of that. All right, enough talk about apple crumble. Let's talk about Diamond League. Another Diamond Diary about my adventures as a Magos de Madrid coach. And well, we're also gonna talk about the Diamond League in general, of course, because things have changed, new teams in there. We can do some little predictions, maybe curse some teams, jinx some things. So stay tuned for that. But before we talk about season 1 and season 2, I think we need to respond a little bit to a certain hot topic, controversy.
Yep, a hot topic.
A whole crazy chat going on. You woke up, right? Also, and then like 600 messages.
Well,
when was it? Like Friday morning, or
I think it was Friday. Yeah, I woke up to loads of. I think I was in the office, and I didn't realize there'd been loads of messages because it didn't pop up at the top saying like 600 plus. Then I saw someone saying, I want to go read all of these. Can someone give me like a TLDR, or is it worth it? Out of 10, how juicy is this conversation? People were like, it's only like a 4 or 5. But I think, and it was obviously about all this sort of free team. I think there's a big piece from Gaffer in there. I think Sturge threw in his comments a bit. It was all back and forth really about it. And that was sort of like the final big chat or conversation around the whole renewal of the contract, what happened to that team essentially due up to the Diamond license. But throughout the week, even almost from the last time we recorded an episode up until now, it feels like daily. When am I getting my free $2,500 now? That's just such a good meme, man. It's such a good meme.
It is a bit of a meme, but yeah, it got also a bit like toxic and like a lot of debate, discussion. But I did not get involved, and I do feel like I want to say a couple of things about it. So about this 2,500, and I also want to protect my legacy a little bit. If that's like the right thing, although I also don't want to stir up a whole debate again and kind of can you say that, like, open this wound again, reopen it, yeah. So I do agree. So let's this is my response, and then you can say what you think about it. So I do agree, of course, that beforehand this communication should have done a bit like better, maybe foster a debate, what to do with this license, maybe have like a couple of ideas from the community. And now it was kind of a sudden announcement. Look, there's a competition, gonna be a Diamond manager, is getting 2,500. So I can imagine this could have be done a bit better, of course. But yeah, then the question is, did this 2,500, the money I got to manage Magos, did that really relegate teams? Right, that's like now kind of the narrative almost, that from then some people think that like, oh, because of 2,500 they ended 5th, let's say, and we also have no scenario, we cannot go back in time, like what if they didn't get the money, like we don't know, right? We don't know, so it's also hard to judge. But yeah, I just want to say that it's definitely not just the money. I really put a lot of hard work. It really like freeze, almost like that you have this Tetris, I talked about it, right? There's like Tetris syndrome, that you're like all these messages going to bed, and then you still have flashes through your head of like, oh, this striker, then I can put him right mid, left mid.
Yeah,
I've been really,
together.
it was like a proper part-time job for 4 days to get that squad together, and like so many messages. So much, like, it was pretty, like a lot of hard work, networking, making deals, making loans, because I started with like 0 and I only got 3 guys for that money, right? Then some loans, I also had to work that all out. So, and then plus I had to come up with a whole tactic to make it work, to get like a formation, to get like guys that fit in a certain formation or vice versa. So that was quite a hassle. And then, did that 2,500 really, is that the reason why I ended 5th and some teams relegated? Yeah, you can discuss about it. Also, all of that activity and tweets and videos, that also grew MFL. It was a little marketing campaign. It also increased the value of players by both spending the money, bringing in new managers. So it also, like, your assets also became worth more. You can argue for that. And then the other thing, I don't know if I should talk about Profound, but if you look at his squad, he had 90% rev share left. You could have spent some of that on getting some better players, right? To maybe avoid that relegation. And then if you start buying players, maybe don't do it after the transfer window. That's also not going to help, right? So, yeah, to then just blame it on 2,500, I think is a bit too.
Yeah, it's a bit. I think
easy.
I'm a big Will put a message in. He obviously chimed in with a few messages, as did many of the Diamond managers and many of the members of the community. But $2,500 for strong players. I mean, look at the splash of the week. A 25-year-old went for more than that. So, you know, if you want to you maybe get 2 good players, one really good player, 3 low-end, 4 low-end legendaries. You don't fast track getting to a good team with $2,500. I think is probably fair to say. That's how I think about it anyway. But like you said, if you've got the rev share to give off, obviously you mentioned Profound there, but if just any Diamond manager, anyone, you know, if you've got some rev share to give, then, you know, that's what I've been doing with my clubs. If I don't want to buy in players, try and offer a healthy amount for a big player. Maybe you can get players in that way. But I'm just going to sort of comment on some of the points you made there, just to get to say my opinion on it all. Obviously, I guess you could say I'm slightly biased towards you because of how we do this and our relationship with each other, sort of thing. Yeah. But also, I'm sort of outside in terms of member of the community. I'm outside of Diamond, so obviously I don't really know how to have that impact, and if there's a chat between them or anything. But I agree that the communication beforehand, especially with the second season, could have been better. You know, like it wasn't really. Registration opened for season 2, and we didn't know what was happening with it. It felt like it should be something done earlier, and I could see for some people might think of it as gone, regardless if it got relegated, regardless if it won the league. So just ignore that bit. If everything remains equal, ceteris paribus, whatever the economic saying is, or whatever it is. If everything remained equal, some people might have gone, well, or might have thought to themselves, they've left it late because, they've sort of renewed it because they've left it late. I think maybe that's what some people might have said. Did the $2,500 / free money relegate teams? I don't think it did. The 22 games in a season for you, I don't think $2,500 certainly helps. But like you said, it helps the economy because some of the players' values, that money gets circulated between other teams. The one tiny thing you could argue is that one deal which you then got some players on 0% loans. You could say that was kind of well crafted and use that to your advantage. However, I don't think that was the reason other teams got relegated. I think all of us can agree that none of this is on none of the whole controversy is anything to do with you. We all respect the amazing achievement you had this year, and I think all of us really, by a couple of people, or maybe them as well, are happy that you've got it again. Like, we all want to see how you do it again, because for you, it was a high risk, high reward play, Because if that goes steaming downhill and you get relegated, a bit like how when I managed England, I'm never probably going to manage a national team ever again unless something drastically happens. If you got smashed out of Diamond, that's probably quite a big sort of like confidence hitter, I would say. If you get smashed out of Diamond, you have that responsibility and that sort of backing. But like you said, it's a lot of hard work. You showed the advantages of having that networking, and like in real life, if a manager comes from a big club, comes down, often you see some of their previous clubs' youngsters coming to that side as well. You do often see that in clubs. So I think you did extremely well this season, and I'm glad that you've got it for season 2. And I think most of the controversy that has been around it has just been about the communication piece. I think is around how it got renewed, on what basis. I think as long as it doesn't get relegated, what do you have you been told what happens next year with it? Is this your final season? Because we got told last year that it was going to be a one-off thing, and now it's a 2-time, and is it a 3-peat? We don't really know. So I think people are frustrated.
They still need to talk about it, but that's also what I would like. To get started on that. To this is the right moment right now to already start about season 3. Maybe foster a little community debate. Maybe, I don't know, some vote or what. Put some feelers out. What do people want? That we should really start talking about it. But I think it would be good to definitely have or a new person or like an auction or whatever. So we should do that for sure. And like just the last thing. Now, what is like the danger scenario? Speaking, like I did well, but now like about causation correlation, right? So maybe 2,500, I did very well, and now there's no 2,500, and now I relegate. And then it's like, you see,
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario for you,
QED, he didn't get the money, he relegated. And that's just like, I just want to, but like luckily you say, and most people say like, okay, it was also came down to the networking and the loans and a bit of tactical skill. So I think that's my main point. Just, I kind of want to fight against that narrative. It's just, money is 5th place, no money is relegation. That's like the danger now. That's like the story.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think, we're going to talk about season 2. I think I can do it again, possibly.
Yeah.
So that's my main goal now. I'm really now motivated by this more than ever. Like,
I bet,
like I'm now gonna prove that also without no money you can do the same. Like that's my main driver. So it only made me more motivated. Hopefully, I can end on a high note, and then someone else or an auction, or let's see what's going to happen.
I do wonder what happens. I know the intent was not always there, but they wanted it to sort of be like a big marketing piece. I think that's been said from quite early on, that this 12th license was maybe going to be some sort of marketing or a different way of allocating it, which obviously it has been. I think a few other managers, forgive me if I'm wrong and I'm sort of talking on your behalf, but personally I would like to have said it just gone straight to like an auction or a released into the ecosystem months ago, like talking middle of 2024, and just let it do its thing. A manager takes it, puts money into it, sees how it goes. I think that was probably the best scenario from a allocation point of view. But I think from obviously their point of view, the marketing, yourself and Quinny brought tremendous engagement and awareness to the game, and we've seen over the last couple of months, particularly from a Sorare point of view, which obviously Quinny comes from, and other managers. It's worked tremendously, to the point where at the beginning of the podcast you were saying, do we have to start thinking about a second league because of demand of players, and the marketplace is clearly on a boom right now as well. So yes, interesting one.
Yeah, let's move on, I would say, but it's just too good to talk about, I guess. I will never get like a definitive answer on this. We cannot go back in time. And just for season 3, hopefully there will be another option, new good option, that we can all like back, and it's over the thing. So let's quickly talk about season 1, and then maybe season 2. I think is the most interesting. So I thought, should I reveal all my tactics and my team instructions, But I think I'm gonna play pretty similar this season.
If you're playing similar, I wouldn't expose them. But then again, the engine changes. Will it
still work?
Yeah,
the same thing.
I mean, you can say roughly.
Yes.
things like if you played really wide.
Well, let's ask you. What do you think? What was like my main tactic?
Crikey, your main.
You can reverse engineer.
I can reverse engineer. I didn't 2D watch any of your. No, we didn't 2D watch any of your games. Did you play pretty?
Or what would you do? What would you do in that? Like with that scenario?
I'd probably play it really safe every single game. Low block, probably pretty compact, direct. Maybe balanced in terms of play out the back, balanced aggression. Probably a lot of it on balance. Probably is what I'd probably have done. Is that what you did?
It's not too much though, but you're pretty close. Like definitely kind of parking the bus style.
Yeah.
So my thing was just kind of keep it defensive, very secure, and then some counters with some good quality players and put it on Ba's head pretty much with his 99 shooting. It was like
yeah, you got no beam striker there. Yeah,
just put it as quickly as possible to them and make sure we don't give away too many goals. That was the main plan. But yeah, we also had two amazing left wing players with Ruiz 92, Heredia 95. And yeah, especially Heredia is like a beast. He's now gonna be Sturge's player in Diamond.
Ooh.
So pretty much it was like you prioritize left flank, pass it to Ruiz and Heredia. They both, I think they got like 15 plus 11 assists, so like 27 assists
prioritize the left flank. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So it was over the left flank with those two guys, Ruiz, Heredia. They got, I think, like 26 assists, and then they cross it. I also put more crosses. So, and they cross it to Ba, to Tefani. Let's see how it goes. So it was just defensively give the ball to the good guys, and they cross it to the finishers. That was pretty much what they did, and it worked out pretty nicely. So that was nice. And this season, though, I don't know if I should already talk about it, about tactics, but we can talk about it. So I lost those two guys. I lost Heredia, I lost Ruiz, and McGill. So 390 guys plus. So I do have to start changing things around. And I changed from a 4-1-2-1-2 to a 3-5-2.
Yay! So three in the back, gang. Welcome.
Three in the back. Because, I lost that very good left back, and I didn't have... And the right back I also lost, and I had not a good backup for either. So I went to the center back state, Valdivia and Barcenas. Plus I have Matthews, that's already 3, and I got Diaz as a 4th. So that is 3 in the back, 5 and 2. So I have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. Like, will a similar tactic still work, or do I need to change things around with a 3-5-2? So that's, a bit tactically. I also wrote down, was it like luck or skill? I don't even know if it was luck or skill. I feel like some results of me were pretty lucky. But if you win enough, like apparently, then it did work, like this tactic. But
you make your own luck. Chance favors.
You make your own luck. Like you never know if it works. But we're gonna go back to the drawing board and then see in season 1 if that season 1 similar thing works in 3-5-2 in season 2. So what is different this season for me and in general, I think, for Diamond? So for me is that I have no money. So that is like, it is different. I cannot buy same guys, but I can still use the free guys I bought previously. So that helps. So I don't have the money, but it was spent and I can keep those free guys. I also wrote down a bit less goodwill. I don't know if you would agree with that, but it's like, for example, McGill was like Dio said, okay, season 1, McGill, I want to help Magos. If you give me a backup goalie, he can go. But now he first wanted to use him himself with Platt, and I sold him to Sturge. Things are getting a bit more serious. Magos second season, so people are less like giving, or they want a bit more ref share, or they want a bit more playing time. and they're a bit less happy to just send them there if they can get a better deal somewhere else. So there's a bit less goodwill, so it's a little bit harder to get deals. Although on the other side, I think there might be more trust. So last season was hard. Like before I started, we were like, oh, Magos is going to relegate. Can you even get a squad together? So there was less, like maybe a bit less trust in the whole project. So at least now they know I can make it work. I can end 5th. But then what's going to make it harder is that I think there's going to be the competition is going to be harder. It's going to be more fierce. Those 4 clubs that came in, I think, are better than the 4 that went away. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I think it's going to be harder. Diamond.
I think definitely some of the. I don't know about all of them because I've not done the little analysis or the little overview of looking at.
Yeah, or Bastista's ranking. It's not.
Yeah, I've not looked at those. Which hopefully tomorrow or Tuesday we'll be able to have a look at those. But I would expect there's at least 2 there that are definitely stronger than the Diamond clubs that came down.
Yeah, so I think Sturge for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's like even the top 6 side. I think so. And especially now with McGill. So he also got a very good goalie. It's going to be harder. And then, for myself also, because my squad got a bit weaker. So I'm almost finished with my team now. I have like 15 players. So that's also not a lot. So I'm doing my rotation or 16 players, like this continuous rotation with a very lean squad, because I spent between 4 to 6 on average on each player. So you cannot even get 25% of 25 players for like 6%. That's already impossible, plus some clauses, 15 matches clauses. So I have not too much rev share to work with. So I have a pretty lean squad. And then Heredia left is 95, Ru is 92, and McGill 91 left. And I got back Quesada 89 right mid, Diaz 88 centre back, an 86 goalie, and another 87 or an 88. So the people that replace them are also a bit lower. So less superstars, less overall quality. So it's gonna be harder for me.
Yeah, I think it's definitely
sure.
It's definitely going to be harder than last season.
Yeah.
You said your side is weaker comparing to last year, and a lot of teams will be the same, if not stronger. I think is the way that it is, because many managers in Diamond in those higher divisions like to own all their full set of players. So they rarely change unless they're buying in upgrades. They don't suddenly lose their whole team and it comes back again, which is kind of you've not lost your whole team, but you've lost the strongest parts of your team. So
yeah. Now, usually in football they say like you count the goals and assists, right? And then they say sometimes 50 goals left the club this summer, right? If you sell your So for me, 26 or 25 assists left. So that's like a crazy amount that left. So that will make it harder because teams are stronger. I got weaker. So I'm curious. Maybe we can start talking predictions already.
So just remind me where you came last year again. Was it 5th you came last year?
Yeah, 5th.
You came 5th, that on myself for a second there. It was 5th you came last season. I think if you get 5th again, I think that's an extremely successful season, even more so than last season.
That would be crazy.
I think, funnily enough, what your expectation was for last year, which was probably not get relegated, not get into that relegation playoff, I think that becomes this season's, where I don't think you don't hit relegation spot. I think it might be a bit closer. That number, what would it be, 12? That number 9 spot, I think, will be really touch and go for a lot of clubs. So
yeah. No, I really think this season it's going to be harder. It's going to be a relegation battle, bigger relegation threat. And then yeah, for me afterwards, and my main motivation is then I get relegated, and they say, yeah, it's because you had no money, no budget. So it was that is my main motivation to stay up. So I'm gonna try everything to do, but not gonna be easy, especially seeing Meta getting that Kovac, Joe B getting stronger, Sturge in there buying McGill. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I think that's the main thing.
I think all divisions. I know it's focusing on Diamond at the moment, but I think all divisions will be extremely tough. We said this last year, but I think this season divisions will be tougher because players have progressed. People in lower divisions want to fast track. We've seen a massive boom in uncommon prices. People want to buy uncommons to get out of ice and stone. People don't want to hang around in divisions they don't want to be in. I think that's
no.
And in your case, obviously Diamond, you cannot go any further than where Meta Mercenaries currently sits. But no one wants to hang around in that division either with where they're placed. And I think a couple of managers probably thought they underperformed last season, so will be doing their utmost to try and not redeem themselves, because they don't need to redeem themselves at all, but to try and improve on last year's results. So I completely agree with you, Calva, that this whole pyramid, but especially Diamond League this season, is going to be extremely competitive and as a result, extremely juicy to follow and comment on each week.
Definitely. No, you're right. I think teams that relegated, they really have this fire in them now. Maybe stack up, really want to get back as quickly as possible. You have in general the teams. So we had our stacking jam, right? You have kind of an effect there everywhere. Plus some rivalries already, like, oh, this team just kicked me out. I lost a playoff against a team, or I just lost out on a position. So yeah, I think it's, in general, the whole pyramid, you're right, it's going to be super tough. So let's, I would say, finish with just like a top 12 prediction. I think that is going to be very fun to look back on. Like a full top 12. Maybe let's do the sections. Let's do it like top 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's start with top 3. Now we can kind of jinx everyone with this. So we name every team.
I do think we'll start at the top. Do you want to start at the top? Start at the top.
Let's do 1, 2, 3.
I find it hard to see Meta not going back to back. Roland upgrades, he's relentless. Of all the people who are asking for engine feedback, look at who's in there. The person who's currently sat at the top of the pyramid asking for, why does this happen? Why is my player doing this? Then Quinton might respond and say, oh, this is why this happens. Oh, he's got information. Can I then use that to improve my tactics and my team instructions? The guy is constantly seeking to become, to maintain himself as the most prestigious club in MFL. So I think you'd be daft to say, and it's almost the cop-out answer, is Meta Mercenary is going to come.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to win it, if not be top 2. And it's going to be a stupidly close battle at the top there for those top 2. Second place, so I have to keep reminding myself, make sure no one's changed names, but everyone's still got the same name. Last year it was OM Legends who came second, wasn't it? He's upgraded.
Very good team also.
Very good team as well.
So you say...
I think maybe we see a repeat of those two. Meta Mercenaries, OM Legends stay the same, and those two go the top. Third place was BFC Barcelona last year on the final day, and I think the third to sixth place is like anyone's game, really. I think, But
yeah, we have to pick teams.
We have to pick teams.
Or you have to pick, and I can say my. So let's start top 3. What do you think?
I think it's hard, like, without knowing any of the scores or who's upgraded or who's not. But
so you need to do more
let's go.
research.
Let's go. Ooh, Who could we pop in as third? Let's go Big Wilbert's Tango. Throw a curveball in there. Throw a curveball in there. Let's go.
That's an interesting choice.
Let's go Big Wilbert's. Let's throw a proper curveball in there. Big Wilb.
I agree. Meta Mercenaries won. I think that's clear. Both the best team, and you could argue the best manager. What you just said, with how serious he is.
Yeah.
I think OM Legends just does have the second best team. There's a chance. Yeah, I'm gonna be boring. I'm also gonna say OM. But third, I don't agree. Sorry, Big Wilbert, but I think there are other teams.
I don't want to just say the same top three by. That's why I'm going for a different third. I don't want to just say BFC Barcelona, which I think they've got a stupidly strong squad.
But I also don't think. I think for sure Bichon is a bit stronger, and I think that even I would do a curveball, and I think Sturge. He's also competitive. He also got those Nel McGill. He got Heredia. He got some really good guys. So, and I believe in Sturge. So I'm gonna say Joga Bonito, I should say. Joga Bonito on number 3.
Crikey, what result that would be? I think he comes between 4th and 6th. I don't think he comes third.
Let's do that. Let's do 4, 5, 6.
I wouldn't personally. I'm not going to put a name on that middle lot because I think it will be like 1 or 2 points within it. I think the top 2 or top 3 are clear, and then I think it's chaos in the middle. Then I think maybe the bottom 2, even bottom 2, man. I think 2 of those platinum sides go straight back down. I don't know who. Just got a feeling. I think you go up and you come straight back down again.
Okay.
Like the Championship and the Premier League, the gap is too big. I think 2 out of those 4 will come straight back down. Won't be Yoga Benito. The rest of those 3, I think 2 of them will go straight back down.
Okay, I'll do my top 12.
Go on, you do
I'll read it out, and then at the end we can check how right I was. Of course, I have an influence on it, and then I think so. I would say Meta Mercenaries 1, OM Legends 2, 3rd Joga Bonito, 4th Bichon and Milano. I think Scrub has an amazing team with really the best wingers in the game, so I think he's gonna be 4th. 5th, BFC Barcelona. They also have a very nice team. I think Tango is gonna be 6th because of also Big Wilbert and how he manages his team, and they deserve to be a bit higher, I think, last season. So Tango is 6th. Then I think Londinium being in there 7th. I think as a Magos, I'm a bit weaker. But let's do wishful thinking. Let's put myself at number 8. I think that's wishful thinking, but okay. Magos is going to be 8th spot. Then I think Samba 9th. And then the 3 other teams that promoted. So BFC Manchester first. Then Gold Feathers, Naples Gold Feathers, and then Variants Kinshu, number 12. That's my top 12. Any thoughts on that?
I'm just, whilst you were doing that, I was looking at the lineups, or there's just the squads, looking at Kinshu's, Variants, and Herta's, Naples. I still back myself in saying that 2 out of those 4 diamond, or those promoted sides, come straight back down. I've not had a chance to look at BFC Manchester, but I think bloody hell, man. It's gonna be fucking tight, isn't it?
It's gonna be, looking at all those teams, it's gonna be really one big blob almost, I think, after Meta and OM again, of teams that can all beat each other pretty much. Maybe Bichon can make a top 3 jump. or maybe Joga can make like a clear top 3 jump, and the rest is going to be super tight, I think. Based also on this season, we saw everyone can beat everyone. So, gonna be very interesting.
I'm just having a look at what Samba's team looks like. Samba's not actually got a horrendous side. Yeah. Do you know what? Maybe even 3 of the 4 plat sides go down. I'd love to see a Yoga Benito finish top 3, top 4. That'd be huge. But I do think that a lot of those plat sides that have come up might go straight back down again. I think I can say that with a bit of confidence. But you know what? Last time I made predictions, it was wrong within a couple of hours later. So
that's a fun thing about predictions. That's a fun thing about predictions. Well, I said my top 12. Let's see at the end of the season how much I got right out of that. And I think now it's hashtag o'clock.
Right, folks. It's getting to that time in the pod where we reveal the hashtag of the episode. And to prove you've been listening this far into episode 69, just before Christmas, today's hashtag is hashtag Merry Dirkmas. Hashtag Merry Dirkmas. To celebrate Christmas, but with an MFL twist. So, on behalf of myself, Calva, Dirk, have a very, very wonderful Christmas. I hope you get all the presents and everything that you asked for, that you put on your list. Even more so, we hope you get that first win of this season on Christmas Day as well. Thank you all so very much for listening, and we'll catch you this time next week for an episode of the Dirk Cast. Thank you for listening.